Started right now. Okay, we are live. I think we need to start off with a nice big hug in the gun community right now. Bro's got to hug it out. So, all right, guys. So we are live today. Caliber Corner number 17. What can we do to unite the gun community? I'm going to try to look at a different set of topics than a lot of what you're seeing in YouTube videos right now. There's a lot of division going on. There's a lot of people promoting the division. There's a lot of people trying to mend the division. You know what? I think we're just going to just jump right into it. So I've sent links out to everybody on the Gun Channels crew. I emailed everything out. I've sent everything out in the messages. So guys, if you're on Gun Channels, if anybody wants to join in on Gun Channels, just go ahead and send me a PM and I'll send you the link for it and we'll be good to go. So first of all, this is over on Caliber Corner on gunchannels.com. If you guys haven't done so, you need to get over there and get yourself a membership. It is very cool. It's free. Even if you're a content creator, there's still a free version that you can run for quite a while. So definitely go over there and check it out. Lots of good stuff going on over there. We're also broadcasting over on my channel, Travis P11 on YouTube. And otherwise, I think that's pretty much what we got. So let's see who's joining in this morning. Ooh, we just had the whole class show up here at the last minute. All right, you guys are on time. We got Grim90 hanging out on YouTube side. We got the other Travis. We'll just call it the other Travis for now. Travis Tumanen is over there in the house. 04 Hemi's hanging out with us. Dead Horse is here, of course. All right, you guys are all waking up this morning getting your coffee on. Over on the Gun Channel side, we got Tony York over there and yesterday's Pomade. And looks like we should be good to go. On the Gun Channel side, I just posted the correct link for Caliber Corner. I swear that I post that over there and it doesn't save, but maybe I didn't click save last time. So it should be streaming properly. So everybody's joining in right now. This is good. We're just going to go right into it. I think we have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I want to stay focused on two little issues here once I let the panel introduce themselves. And if anybody else is watching, again, you want to join in, hit me up with a message, and I'll check that frequently on Gun Channels, and we'll get you brought in here. So let's let everybody introduce themselves. Squibby, we'll go ahead and start off with you, man. What would you like to say? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to get out there right now?
Well, I'd like to let you know that today's episode of Caliber Corner is brought to you by Carly Kloss over on YouTube, so she's joining in.
All right, all right. Sounds good, sounds good. Hey, man, I need every sponsor I can get. All my videos are getting demonetized left and right now because the algorithm is supposedly working better. Not in my favor.
Well, the commercial for how to set up your own website, it looks like it's fairly straightforward. I've never tried to set up my own website, but I'm sure there's lots of different software out there. But that one looks fairly easy to use. So,
dude, anytime you want to learn, just give me a holler and I'll walk you through it. It's pretty simple. We got a lot of different options for what you can do.
I don't even know what I would do with my own website.
Promote yourself, baby. Squibload.com. There you go. There you go. All right.
Everybody wants to buy Squibloads. Right.
Exactly, man. It's whatever you want to make it into. And, you know, it's funny that my videos get demonetized and apparently they're not advertiser friendly yet. Every time I click on it, they're playing a damn ad. So there you go. They're playing an ad. Somebody's making money off me, right?
When I make a comment, I'm not trying to and I let you know what commercial will come on before I watched your video. I'm not trying to get your blood boiling. I just want to let you know who's advertising. Just because I'm sure you probably don't go back and go, oh man, I got to watch my video 10 times over or something.
You know, I'm not an egomaniac or narcissistic, but I do that. I like to, because we talk about a lot of stuff. I like to listen to it. I put it on, especially if I've gone through my entire subscription list of new updates and there's not much posted. You know, sometimes you go a couple days and there isn't anything posted. So I like to go back and listen to episodes or watch other videos or watch other people's videeos. So but the whole demonetization thing, man, I could go off on that. They demonetized my video about my dog's tactical vest. Can you believe that?
What?
They also demonetized my video on the firearm safety that you need to know. So there's two things I know about YouTube. YouTube wants us to be unsafe with our guns. That's part of the agenda. And two, YouTube does not like dogs. Now, had that been a tactical vest for a cat, they probably would not have discriminated against ammo dogs. So, but that's not why we're here today. That's not what we're going to talk about. I just want to get that out right now.
But
the algorithm is learning. Yeah, what's up?
If I was into Twitter, it'd be hashtag no love for Charlie. Wow, dang.
Yeah, no, they don't love dogs and all that. And the funny part is they did it after I got a couple hundred views, and then they demonetized it. So they know what they're doing. They sit there and say, "Oh, the algorithm is doing this and doing that, and it's flagging you." And now they claim that it's learning, so it's approving more videos. And I give up. I'm done.
But I like that.
I don't care. What's that? No, I don't give up on the videos. I just give up on monetization, man. Yeah.
Oh, well, I like the video. I thought you did it really well.
How do you market a dog tactical vest, you know?
Well, I mean, especially when you're trying to explain how you're trying to make it fit onto his body shape, you know, because of the corgi body shape and stuff. I mean, you could have just said, well, it fits my dog. All right, later.
Yeah, it's like, here it is. It looks really cool. Let's go outside and run around. Now it's kind of showing the adjustability on it and how awesome it is. The molly straps, man. Little guy can carry like 4 PMags for me if I want him to. and then we can like put a knife across the top, so he's good to go. So yeah,
Yeah, what you got to do is you got to get one of those Molly handgun holsters and put like a P226 or a Glock in there.
Heck yeah, man, that would be awesome. Heck yeah. Hang on, I got to give Gary a detention because he was late. 30 minutes after school. There we go. We're just going to go school on this one because this is class. We're going to be schooling people today, man. We're going to talk about what's going on in the gun community. I want to focus. All right. Anyway, before we do anything else, go ahead and promote your channel, man. Anything you want to push out there. You're making some cool, super videos. What do we need to know, man? What's going on in
Um,
your life?
I am AWAG 1000, obviously. I hope so. My channel is mostly guns, cars, and occasionally video games that are politically charged. That one video that I posted, this war of mine, actually, oh my gosh, it's such a dark, depressing game, and it's actually pretty spot on, like how if how people would react if there was like a war. People would get depressed. It's very emotionally driven, the game. It's only a 2D side scroller and there's not much like depth to it, but it like gives a story about like what goes on in some of these people's lives, and I just completely take the piss out of the game. And I have a one video that I put up that was four people in my story, which was John Cena, um, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, and Bear
Oh my
Grylls.
God.
So I make the most light out of a dark, depressing situation.
There you go. And that's what we try to do here. That's what we try to do, man. I'm telling you. That's what it's all
Dream
about.
team there.
Video game. I'm gonna try not to become a gaming channel, but maybe those don't get demonetized if I go that route. I have no idea.
I heard they did, but I don't know. My kids watch all that crap. I should probably ask them if anybody's done a video.
Oh yeah, everybody's getting hit, but it's just because of how they cranked up their algorithms and what they're trying to do. And when you request a review, there's a person that supposedly looks at it, and when they approve the video, it adds to the learning of the program of the algorithm. So they claim you're going to be less likely to get flagged as time goes on because the algorithm's going to learn what's appropriate and what's inappropriate, and it gets into that's a whole nother situation. It's all about YouTube trying to eliminate the middleman, going right to the sponsors and eliminating the ad agencies. But who knows? Maybe in a couple of years it'll get to that point and things will be better. But I've only been monetized for a year, so really I could care less. So
well, you explained it well, though. It must be that computer science teacher thing in you.
No, I've just watched a lot of YouTube videos on it because I'm pissed because they keep getting demonetized. But that might be part of it too. So yeah.
What I think YouTube does is, if you have a YouTube channel and you post a video that's not advertiser friendly,
yeah,
they'll mark that video and they'll mark your account. So if you post another video, it automatically puts it down like 3 rungs. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I just got monetized on last Monday, so I've been going through it this week where every video I put up within 1 minute, it's getting flagged. But I've also been told by G and by a couple others, wait about 24 hours. Sure enough, in about a day or two, all of them come back to green. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's because I'm a gun channel and they just assume everything's inappropriate, and then in a day or so it kind of fixes itself. So hopefully that's getting better also.
I don't get it. It's a whole variety of mine all across the spectrum that are getting nailed right now. It's everything, whether it's a tutorial video for cleaning or whatever. But Ghost, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself before we fire it up, man? We're just kind of doing some warm-up stuff right now. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad I can make it this morning. It's a slow morning, so yeah, I'm able to make it. So thank you for having me.
Cool. Now I got a few important questions for us to jump into. Tracy joined in on the panel. Tracy, you want to introduce yourself, or you coming back to us? Maybe not. Okay. All right, guys. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So what we're talking about is how to bring the community together. So first of all, I want to discuss something amongst ourselves or with everyone. What is it that all of us have in common as gun owners? Okay. And the second thing is, what are we going to do to kind of get past all the crap going on and unite as a community? And then maybe what do we do after? Okay, because November 5th is quickly approaching. We can talk about the rallies a little bit, but what is it that we all have in common, and what is it that we can do to get together to empower ourselves? Because right now we're tearing ourselves apart. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that the biggest thing that we have in common is our guns, obviously. Very few people go out to buy a gun just to have a gun at the house. So there is a small percentage of people that do that. But for the vast majority of us, we all like our guns. And I think that what we can do to come together is to put our differences aside about which organization to support and all that, and understand that we're talking about the same thing, whether we're talking NRA, GOA, or SAF. We're all talking about preserving the Second Amendment as we know it. That's what's at attack right now, is our Second Amendment. And they're not, and then they're doing something. I said this on a video earlier. They're actually smarter this time. They're not going after a big assault weapons ban. They're presenting 25 to 70 pieces of legislation. They're going to try to attack us brick by brick. So we need to be strong right now. Understand that just because we might get share, we might get national reciprocity, and we might defend and stop, 3999.
Yeah.
There's 25 to 70 other pieces of legislation out there that are just as dangerous when you add them all up. So we have to stay vigilant the whole time.
Man, I'll tell you, I mean, we need to stay active regardless of how you feel about firearms. If you want to even have that firearm or be able to buy more of them, man, you can't get complacent. You have to stay active, and it doesn't matter if you're just somebody who enjoys the firearm for hunting, but we all got to realize that there's a common reason why we have the firearms that we do, Well, I think that's something, yeah.
Well, Tony York said it on Early Watch. He said that the first one they put out, the 3999, about the device
increased rate of fire. Yeah.
Right. If they had just put bump stock, nothing about any devices to increase the rate of fire, if they had just put the word bump stock or been very specific about that particular accessory, there would be a lot more division, and they'd probably have a lot better chance of passing that bill. But because they put all kinds of things in there, now people are freaking out and they're going, oh my goodness, they're going to amputate Jerry Micklick's, trigger finger. No, they're not going to amputate Jerry Micklick's trigger finger. But because that bill is written so broadly, now they got everybody going, huh? What? Instead of just, if they had written some of this legislation where it only affected one thing or one obscure thing, or it only went one, you would have more division. I think, if anything, the way they've written these bills, some of these other ones, about the magazine feeding devices, and the one about the online ammunition purchases and things, that's going to bring more people together just by the very nature. So they are using a tactic by making so many bills. They're going to wear us down and hope to squeeze some through. They're using a tactic, but also the way they're wording the bills, it's against them, I think.
I think you're right, because I don't think, honestly, if we're all being honest right here, if it was just a bump fire stock bill, would any of us really care? I mean, honestly, I wouldn't care. I don't particularly care for them.
Probably not.
You're right. But
Probably
you're right,
not.
because they didn't say that. Everyone's saying, well, my 15-round magazine increases the rate of fire, so they're not going to take that from me,
Well, it's just the whole, if they want to divide us, there's a way to divide us. But if they do that, they have a chance of banning less things. So if they want to try to ban more things, they actually unite us. I mean, Tony also said, if they got rid of gun control for 10 years, I mean, everything, there's no NFA, there's no 44-7, there's no nothing for 10 years, we would all get so complacent. The NRA would dissolve because nobody would, put money into it and all this other stuff. And then if they came back after 10 years and went for gun control, we wouldn't have a leg to stand on, because we had all gotten so complacent, and all pro-Second Amendment organizations had lost their funding and blah, 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 blah. And he's kind of right on that too. On the other hand, they're not going to do that. They're not about to step back and go, okay, let's back off of this for a decade and let them get fat, dumb, and happy. And so, I mean, they're trying to use stuff against us. We can try to use stuff against them. I mean, we're defending a constitutional right. We're not defending, some people look at it as, we're just trying to keep our toys. And the way some people act, they emulate that, and it doesn't help our cause. But
very true.
At the end of the day, it's about the Second Amendment.
Yeah. Man, I mean, yeah.
Just
go ahead.
FYI here. This is Tony.
Yep. Sorry, man.
Hey, thanks, Squib. Appreciate that.
Tony, what's up, man?
I didn't realize people paid attention to what I said.
Every now and then something sticks to the wall, Tony.
Actually, Tony, no, I'm not like a fanboy. You're not going to see me standing outside your door looking for an autograph, but I do listen when you talk, because you do have a lot of good things, a lot of good points.
I want an autograph. I got an SD9VE that I want the slide autograph by Tony. You kidding me?
Now, if I had a Model 29,
I've got a musket. I've got a musket that I want autographs. I think Tony might have shot it before, like when it was new. Just joking. I love you, Tony.
Oh, jeez, man, we're just full of good jabs this morning, aren't we? It's because we're all frozen and it's too early on a Saturday. So yeah,
it's like the first like really cold spell, so we're all kind of drinking our coffee.
I took my dog for a walk this morning. It was 19 degrees. We made it about a block, and I said, "Dude, we're going back." My dog was like, "No, man, let's keep going." I was like, "No, I couldn't feel." That's why I'm growing this out. No shave November. I need some kind of face shield now that I have a dog. I have to walk in the mornings, man. It's not windy. Thank God it wasn't windy. But anyway, enough of my first world problems. Hey, real quick, guys. Midnight Range TM, you want to introduce yourself? You want to talk about your channel? Thanks for joining.
Yeah, a little bit. Hey, yeah. I don't know how much I'll be able to join in. I have. I figure if I'm going to listen, I might as well listen on Hangouts, just in case. But yeah, come check the channel out. Doing some live stuff on Sundays right now. Kind of the closer of the week, it seems like. The last show. The last show of the week for the Gun Channel guys. So come check it out. And yeah, man, thanks for having me.
Cool, man. No, you've been putting some really cool videos up on the channel. Recipes are awesome. I'm loving the Patreon posts too. So guys, Midnight Range TM, support him over on Patreon. You get some really cool exclusive access, and the chats have been really fun to listen to, and the story time has been great. You put me to sleep a couple times, so that's good. I haven't had that since I was a child.
Wait. They're really good, and they put you to sleep? I don't know, man. That's no good.
Well, they're called story times, I mean, you're supposed to have a purpose. Yep, so that for him, it's to put him asleep. Well, that's a good thing.
You go on at like 10:30 at night, so I mean that's about the time I turn in, and then you start reading the story, man. And I eat some of that delicious dessert that you post recipes for, and No,
I'm glad to be here, man. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so back to the issue here. We need to unite. So for a while, I think we all kind of need to let our differences go because we can, through healthy discourse, work that stuff out. Because again, there's a lot of crap that's out there right now. It's being pushed. Let's talk about the rallies, all right? Because I think the rallies are going to be a major unifying point for people. And I do have an update on some information from the Nebraska side. I've been kind of holding out to see what other members of our local organization have been up to, and I've got some info for you guys. AWAG, anything in New Jersey? Anything you want to talk about that you've heard? Is there any organizing going on? Any two-way stuff next Sunday?
To tell you the truth, New Jersey is one of those states where there's not a... See, I'm going to eat my words with this because as soon as I say this, somebody's going to say, oh, well, no.
It's okay. I'm only at one thumbs down this morning, so you can let it roll.
In New Jersey, there's not a lot of, like, shooters my age. It's all a bunch of either scared 40-year-olds that are scared that, I don't know, the government's going to take over or something, or a bunch of like FUDs that have your 3-round 30-06 bolt actions. I mean, there occasionally are a few like kids that are like 12 and 14 that their parents kind of make do, and don't get me wrong, they're great shooters, but I haven't seen many shooters my age because either one of two things, they're either kids my age or somewhat adults my age are either in college getting some sort of liberal arts or socioeconomic thing going on, or they're just not interested in general. And I try to go with my friends. I'm like, hey, you want to go to the range? And all my friends are like, oh no, let's go play airsoft. I'm like, dude, like,
demand they go with you, or you will no longer play airsoft with them, and then say, hey, let's go shoot a real gun for once. Okay, I'll let you have your pick.
That's what I say.
And I think once you get them there and they get that rush of hitting their first bullseye or their first target, it's going to pull people in, But no, so again,
I took one of my friends to the range. I actually have a video of it. I haven't posted it yet. He's all into World War II stuff, so I brought out both my Mosins and an SKS, and he's like, he was just having a blast the whole day through, and I just like kept on handing him box after box of ammunition for the SKS. He's like, can I buy this off of you? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll even throw in 1,000 rounds of ammo.
Oh my God. I'll buy your SKS with 1,000 rounds of ammo. That's awesome, man. I mean, but otherwise, rally-wise, have you heard of anything going on at your Capitol building at all or anything?
It's pretty dead here, honestly.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see if anything comes out of that. Ghost, in your little neck of the woods, things are definitely boiling over there. Arkansas, right?
Yeah. So far, so good. We got talked to the Secretary of State and secured the front steps of the Capitol building. They're going to provide us with a podium and a microphone, which is awesome. I've got emails out to the governor, a couple congressmen and senators about speaking. I've got emails out to the IDPA, which is a large competitive pistol shooting organization, but they're based out of Arkansas. So I'm hoping maybe they'll send someone down. I've got someone from Wilson Combat that's working on either coming down or a prepared statement. So things are going well. Now I just got to get people. The only thing I'm worried about is talk about FUDs is the vast majority of Arkansans own guns. The problem is the vast majority of those people are hunters. So they only care about their guns for a couple months a year. This being hunting season, I'm really worried about people showing up. So if you're listening here in Arkansas, get the word out. Please show up. We need a crowd.
Okay. Well, maybe tell those hunters that have their semi-autos that like to go hog hunting that they might have some trouble taking those out if things don't go the way we want them to. You know,
that's the rhetoric. That's the rhetoric that I'm using. But you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on a Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a road trip for me. I'm going to be heading out. I'm going to be going that route too. Travis, you're in Pennsylvania, right? Midnight Range? You might be busy cooking right now. I think that he's...
Nope. Yeah, that was across the kitchen, sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. What, have you heard of any rallies in your neck of the woods? Anything going on?
I don't know. It is pretty quiet here too. I know, I wish I had more time. I would start trying to throw some stuff together myself. I've hit up a lot of friends and family. I've hit up a lot of my, everybody that I know, gun owner wise, and I've got some guys that are, also kind of passing the word through the chain. You know what I mean? I don't know if anything's being organized. I actually keep meaning to look it up and see if, if anybody is taking control of anything or not. I know, there are some other gun channel members that are in PA. I'm hoping to see them there. I probably won't be able to make the morning, but I'm planning on being there, in the afternoon.
Yeah. Good, man. Well, hopefully things will start to assemble out there too, and people get active out there. It's not easy. It's really not easy because, again, we're getting comfortable. We've gotten complacent over the last couple months. We maybe aren't informed, or another part of it is a lot of us are just hardworking people, man. We put a lot of hours in during the week, and you try to divide your time between family and leisure and trying to educate yourself, and it's not always easy. It's definitely not a simple task. So, all right. So hopefully hopefully things will go well a week from tomorrow. Squib, what about you, man?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's or Squib or AWAG. It doesn't matter. Whoever wants to
chat. Go ahead, AWAG.
Yeah.
That a little bit. You said November 5th. Now, being New Jersey, and New Jersey being a very pretty liberal state on the northern end of the state, I have friends that they kind of do intelligence running, which is kind of weird, but they like follow like Antifa and a bunch of other stuff, and they say that my friends are telling me that on November 4th or something, Antifa's doing something stupid. I don't know. You guys have any info on that?
That's supposed to be their National Day of Assembly and Protest, or their Day of Anarchy or something. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's
published all over.
What's that?
They're basically saying that they're arming themselves for some stupid reason, and I've known these guys for a while, so I kind of like heed their advice, and it's a little scary, to tell you the truth. And I did, you know the Art of War, Sun Tzu. They always say that never underestimate your enemies. I always see these memes everywhere that show like Antifa. You see like a stereotypical hipster holding an AK. Yeah. And then you see somebody like laughing at it, and it's like, well, you got to take them seriously until they don't produce.
Well, they spend the majority of their time playing first-person shoot-'em-up video games, so what's going to stop them from doing the real thing? I'm sure they know how to operate a firearm, They're going to be going off emotion. They're going to be hot-headed, not thinking straight. So the last thing you want to do is see it come to that. It'll be interesting to see. Between law enforcement and a lot of your law-abiding citizens that own firearms, it'd be interesting to see how much they think they can actually accomplish. I could see them maybe doing some rioting, like maybe in urban areas or in city areas, you know, or this dense populations, but I don't know if I could see it like filtering out into the neighborhoods and things like that. You'd have to have some pretty significant numbers, I think, to pull off something like that before your locals decide to put that down, you know.
You know,
I hope it doesn't come to that. That does bother me because I'm going to be in a college town, you know, the 4th, and the 5th is a rally, and so I'm thinking, man, I just hope that I know the group. I mean, granted, we're 2 blocks away from the Lincoln Police Department, so I feel safe. I mean, it's literally you can see it right over there, you know, from where the Capitol is. But
yeah, and we got a few major colleges, and I'm only like 30 minutes from Philadelphia, and we've got so many major colleges. We got Temple, we got Rutgers, we got Rowan. They're all in this like little, like almost like a little circle, and my house is like somewhere in that little circle. So that's pretty much why I'm kind of like on the cautious side.
You know, just keep yourself vigilant. Just don't leave on the 4th. Nobody should be afraid to leave their house. But if you feel like it's not going to be a safe environment to go out into, just stay home. Keep an eye on things. You know, keep an eye on your neighborhood. Kind of keep an eye on the news or the radio. I mean, there's going to be something that's going to happen somewhere. There's going to be some neighborhood that's going to explode, or there's going to be some group that's going to try to start something. And, you know, who knows? I mean, I don't want to predict anything bad, but the fact that a lot of us Pro 2A guys are going to be out on the road, we're going to be trying to travel, we're going to be trying to get to our rallies, you know, it could make for a volatile situation, and that's the last thing that we really want.
Yeah.
What about the possibility that on the 4th, Antifa is out there waving their guns around, doing stupid stuff, maybe even inciting a riot, causing trouble? Who knows? Maybe even some idiot decides to squeeze off a few rounds, does whatever. And then the next day we're out there, and there's going to be some people carrying their guns, wearing their camo, doing whatever, even though some people on gun channels have said it's probably not a good idea. And I agree, maybe for this one, it's not a good idea. But the day before, you got Antifa out there, and they just think we're Antifa because, you know, they don't know. Oh, it's just somebody else with a gun, or the cops are like, you can't come in here. But we filed for a permit to, but yesterday we had a shooting here, so this is off limit, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely create a situation where people don't want to come out, or it could create a situation where there will be no, I mean, God forbid it turns into martial law in certain cities because of this everything going on. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting transition to those rallies to see what exactly is going to happen. You know, I don't know. Squib,
well,
real
the
quick.
best
Oh, go ahead, guys.
possible course, the best possible course here is to avoid confrontation at any cost.
Yeah.
There's no way we're going to come out looking good in a confrontation.
No.
I agree with you, Tony. I agree with you. I think we need to show these people that think that we're violent, which we're not, that we're not. You know, I mean, Antifa can do whatever the heck they want. They're idiots. But all they see is somebody wearing camo with a gun. And I don't have a problem with somebody wearing camo. I don't have a problem with somebody open carrying, but you have to look and see, you have to think about the uninformed public who looks at us all the same, and we're not. We are definitely not the same.
Yeah, and I hear people all the time, especially when it comes around the 2nd of each month, and every second matters, and kind of the thing to do on the 2nd of each month is to open carry, and I love that. And one day a month, yeah, it's great. But for the people need to understand is the vast majority of people have never seen someone open carry in your area, then it's going to freak them out a little bit, and they're going to automatically assume that dude's crazy. You know, I'm surprised there hasn't been people calling the cops. Hey, there's a guy carrying a gun at Walmart or whatever. And that's what Squib said is I'm all for the Second Amendment, but let's look at the public perception of what we're putting out there. We're sometimes we're not helping ourselves either. You know, and that's a big problem. Also, we have to look at ourselves and say, what are we personally doing to help with the stereotypes and the perception of what a gun person is?
Most of the people in Michigan have no idea that you can open carry in this state. You can walk right down the street with an AR-15 slung over your shoulder, and there is nothing against the law. You're going to have people freaking out, calling the police. The police are going to stop you. They're going to, they're going to want your ID. They're going to want to check the serial number on the gun, blah, 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 blah. They're going to send you on your way if you don't turn yourself into a jackhole and decide I don't have to show you my ID. I have to, that sort of thing. There's videos on YouTube of this. People are setting up the cops for they're walking around the suburbs here, the Detroit suburbs of Michigan, and they're setting up the cops to come out there and they're catching them on camera, and they're busting the cops for not knowing the law. So most of the people don't know that you can do that here. It's totally legal. But these are also the same people that think if you get a CPL, which is concealed pistol license, it's called CCW in other states. Yeah. They think if you obtain a CPL, that means you have a license to kill. These are the same people that think if you have that the government's saying it's okay to arbitrarily just murder somebody. So there's a lot of misconceptions out there, all kinds of different ways. And this goes back to the whole education. If one of us is at one of these rallies and the news sticks a camera in our face, just understand that whatever you say can be chopped up and edited. So try to be careful what you say.
Yeah.
I think also going into your point right there is for the people that are out there, law-abiding citizens, obviously, because it is free to open carry. But if you are one of those people that are quote-unquote setting up the police and having the cameras roll, that's doing just as much harm as it is good. Yes, you might be informing people that you can open carry, but what are all the neighbors and what are all the innocent bystanders that are just around watching the police come out and have an argument with a guy with a gun, regardless if it's legal or not? That doesn't look good sometimes in public perception.
Those videos drive me nuts because the guy's sitting there saying, I have a right, I have a right. Okay, you do, but you also might be scaring some people. You also might be ticking the cops off who can cite you for causing a public disturbance, even though you're open carrying. I mean, we need to get the public conditioned to the idea of being comfortable around firearms. And so for something like the rally, it's good to present ourselves as educated, informed individuals that are not out to just shoot somebody, right? That we are people that have rights and we want to protect those rights. We're concerned citizens just like anybody else. I don't know. Like I said, people are going to wear what they want to wear. They're going to do what they want to do. Again, I just hope that everything goes off well. And I think it's going to be a great unifying experience for people. And personally, I do agree with G-Webs on the gun channel side that we really don't need to worry about Antifa. They're probably not going to do anything. We're likely for bad things to happen. And the fact that there's probably going to be law enforcement present at these rallies anyway. I mean, you think some little hipster kid, when he sees, some fully tacked out police officers is going to want to try something, unless you have some.
And knowing the other people they're attacking are going to be carrying guns also, they probably don't want to mess with us.
Yeah.
And I will say this too, as much as I say maybe it's not a good idea to wear your camo and bring your guns, everybody's got to make a personal choice. And if I see somebody showing up with that, I'm not going to think any less of them.
Yeah.
If the camera crews decide to do an interview, you know who they're going to walk to.
They're going to the FUD.
To the guy who is camo head to toe, combat boots, beard, AK slung over his shoulder with maybe something that says, some sort of, pro-Trump T-shirt.
Come and take it.
Come and take it, or Mulan Lobby, or however you say that, or whatever it is. And that's a guy that's going to get interviewed. So I'm hoping if that's a guy that he's one of us, and he's not one of these, they can come bust down my door and take my guns. I'll give them one bullet at a time. Oh my goodness, we don't need.
I'll tell you where G-Webs changed my mind in the last 48 hours is I was one of the proponents early on when we started talking about a week ago about the rally is saying we need to show up in church clothes or nicer clothes. And I was like, we need to change the stereotype of what people think of us because we all do know who the media is going to go up to. It is Joe Bob, Billy Bob, and that's okay. But G actually made a point that we were in a private conversation that he kind of changed my mind. He said, look, I get what you're trying to say, and there is a part of it that is very true. We need to change the stereotype of what people think of us. But if you're asking people to show up, and then you're also asking them to dress up, he said, you might get people that just say, I'm not going, so I'm not dressing up. Would you rather have people there?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they're wearing, or very few people there because there aren't people willing to dress up. And I said, well, that's true. I'd rather have people there. Now, in other states like Texas, where they're going to have people show up anyways, you might be able to get away with that. In Arkansas, where I'm hoping to get 50 to 100 people, I can't be picky on what they wear. I just have to hope that I can make sure that before I see cameras, that someone that we know is going to rush that camera and not Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Well, I think you also have to, you have to keep telling yourself, like, we want everybody to go out there that's a responsible gun owner, because we want people to see that responsible gun owners come from all walks of life. So go as you are. Go, be yourself. Because I think that's powerful too. When people show up and it's like, I'm a chef. I'm obviously not going to be wearing my work clothes, but you might see somebody dressed, as a, somebody that works at an electrician, you know what I mean, or whatever, that he just shows up to be there to show support. Oh, my cable guy's there. Holy shit, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Like, wow, I never even thought about that somebody in his line of work probably should carry, because he probably carries at work because it's dangerous to actually go into people's houses all the time. You know what I mean? So come as you are, I think, is a powerful statement too, to let people know that we're all different. We're all from different walks of life, and that we all come together on this one issue,
G-Webs has a really good point that he made over on the gun channel side. He goes, what if they talk to that guy who's got all the camo on, who's got his gun, and he's well spoken, and we win, and then we win. I mean, if the guy is educated, I mean,
the party that wants to dress up like a flood just to see if maybe they ask me or something, because I'll try to blow them out of the water.
Dig out your camis and your Cadillacs.
Get your ghillie suit. Get your ghillie suit.
Plus, it might be cold, so it might be a good idea to get some of that stuff out.
You know what? Yeah. If you had your ghillie suit, that would probably do it if you've got one. But otherwise, I say if you've got your Gore-Tex or
yes.
I've
got my Gore-Tex and my old cold weather boots. I just don't know if any of them fit. That's the problem.
At the rally, I'm going to do an on-site review for thermal underwear. Don't worry, they won't be exposed, but I'll be talking about because I review everything. So what a better way to do it than at a two-way rally when I'm freezing my butt off. So
great, everybody. Absolutely. Travis is going to stick the camera down his pants.
No, I didn't say that, man. Jeez.
Oh, that'll be even better. He's going to walk around with his thermal underwear on. That's not going to change the stereotype at all.
Yeah, there you go. That'll be the follow-up video. That'll be the director's cut. Yeah.
That's the after hours director's cut. Yeah.
At these 2A rallies, should we have a guy that is just so almost like a fall guy, just so over the top tactical dress,
face paint,
but they have to be extremely well spoken and know exactly what they're talking about. So basically, the media is
plan.
Like, whoa, that guy
we need to have a plan out there. Absolutely.
Let's go ask him.
And have him carrying the craziest sign, whatever the sign, Second Amendment and blah, 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 but have one saying, brace this, bitch, or something like that, to where it catches the eye of the camera,
Or we get a guy that is dressed in camo, but you have to have fluorescent face paint. That way it really
you gotta have the orange.
Attention.
Yeah,
get the blaze orange face paint on.
That would be awesome. Oh yeah. Can I say one thing before I shut up? Because I know this is your show. I'm not trying to hijack it. But
this is good stuff.
There is a segment. Yeah. There is a segment. I don't know if you guys. I know you all know who he is, but I don't know if you guys watch Steven Crowder very much.
Yes, I do.
But Steven Crowder does have, every now and then he'll put a little video out and a segment out called "I'm Pro Gun, Change My Mind," and he goes out to college campuses or at the mall or different places, and he sets up this table. He's got a big old banner that says "I'm Pro Gun, Change My Mind," and you get a lot of these people, especially at colleges, these kids sit down with them and try to change his mind, and they're so misinformed, and they're only spitting out the same rhetoric that they hear on CNN and all this other. They don't really have thoughts of their own because they're too young to really have thoughts of their own to some extent. But it's so hilarious that he'll let them go, and he'll just ask them questions and kind of feed them questions that they'll end up fighting their own rhetoric. And by the end of the conversation, he's like, "So we agree." You're like, "Oh, I guess we do." So I mean, it's one of those things where it's awesome, where he's out there trying to inform the misinformed. And I'm not saying we all need to do that, but if we hear someone talking at our local restaurants or something like that, I think it is kind of our responsibility not to just jump in their conversation, but if you hear some crap being said, don't be the militant guy saying you're crazy. Just sit there and say, "Man, I overheard your conversation. I'm just wanting to know this, and explain to them. Maybe you do inform someone enough that it changes their minds a little bit also. That's extremely important.
Yeah, I drop that kind of little hint all the time when I talk to people. They say, "Oh, what do you like to do?" or "What do you do?" I was like, "Oh man, I you know, a lot of family time and all this, and then, but I love to shoot and I reload." I say reloading a lot too because it makes it seem like I'm not just out there blasting away. You know, it adds a little bit of science to the sport, I guess. So,
yeah.
you know, I do that all the time. You know, so you're coming into the restaurant and like, "Oh, everything was great." Like, "Oh, what do you do? What do you do?" And that's always what I say, and it's kind of neat because they're like, "Oh, really?" Like they didn't expect it. You know what I mean?
I know you don't own the restaurant, so you're probably up to a little bit of what the owner wants or not, but that would be kind of cool if you were able to put like an Every Second Matters or Gun Channels patch on your chef's hat. That might spark conversation up.
Yeah, I am very open with with shooting and reloading and being in the gun community and all that. I try and keep it simple and I try to keep it not political just because it isn't my restaurant. You know what I mean? And I know some guys will be probably be pissed off about that because they're like, "Oh, you should be loud and proud." But
it's a job. You got to keep your job too.
Yeah, exactly. It's a business, and I have to respect his wishes. And he's not anti-gun by any means, but I also don't want to put words in his mouth as a owner. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot, I think, to unite us. We have, there is a common goal out there that I think we need to achieve, and November 5th is going to be a big one. Just anything we can do to definitely try to get along better as a gun community, to unite, because we look at what's heading our way. We have to stay united as a strong community. That's going to be the most important thing. I just want to give a quick update for Nebraska. What I had been waiting for our rally information is the Nebraska Firearms Owners Association. It's one of the biggest organizations in Nebraska for local gun owners. They've either got, I can't remember the number, between 3,000 and 5,000 members. Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but I did contact them. They did get back with me a couple days later, and they said in the forums they were discussing getting a rally put together. And there's actually a gal that had filed for the rally permit, and she's waiting for the paperwork to show up. We have plenty of time to turn it in. When you look at the rules of the rally that she forwarded to me that the state sent to her, they prefer 2 weeks notice, but you don't have to give 2 weeks notice. We have groups that assemble all the time at our Capitol, so we do have a designated area. So right now we're looking at meeting around 10 a.m. On the 5th at I'm not sure exactly this, I believe it's the north side of the Capitol, but there's a whole set of rules we have to follow, and I'm going to do a separate video talking about if you want to come to the Nebraska rally, this is what you can expect. And there's people that have reached out to our senators to invite them to talk. There's another local guy, Triple D, who shows up on a lot of the Guns and Geeks videos, the chats and everything, and he's got an audio system, and you can request electricity. They will supply electricity, but I don't believe they'll supply a microphone. But there's a whole set of procedures and rules that we need to follow. So I will be giving an update on Nebraska. But for us, we want to go 10 to 4, but it really does depend on the weather. If it's brutally cold or snowing, we're gonna stick it out as long as we can. But if you've never experienced freezing cold temperatures with wind, and if you can't move around, if you're standing there, I mean, we want to support the cause, but a lot of guys have said, look, man, because we're supposed to get some nasty weather next weekend, we're going to do what we can, but there will be a presence there, which I think is the most important thing. And another part of it is Nebraska is a fairly gun-friendly state. We have a lot of hunters, a lot of shooters. Hornor Day is based out of Nebraska. We've got a very pro-hunting and pro-gun culture in general. I mean, now granted, we're not the most free state out there, but again, I think if we were maybe a more restricted state, we might see a better turnout because we're used to having somewhat lax gun laws. And so it hasn't been hard organizing people, but I also haven't seen anything advertised locally about it. So that's why I've been emailing quite a few individuals about it. So that's kind of my Nebraska update for you guys, because 5 days ago, I had no idea if it was just going to be me standing there with a poster, but there's a lot of people chiming in saying they're going to go. So I'll give some details out to people later on about specifically where to be and when. So I'll get that video up hopefully middle part of this week. Squib, anything in Michigan? I don't know if we had a chance to ask you yet. Squib, you still with us? Might not be there.
He's here, but he might be AFK.
He's not here. Oh, no, that's fine. So again, guys, okay, so let's talk a little bit with regards to the rift between the gun community. All right, what can we do? What should we be doing as grown-up individuals here to kind of get past the anger or frustration that we've been experiencing over the last couple of weeks in terms of the frustration with the NRA, the frustration with some of these YouTube channels that we love to watch, that we've subscribed to. What do we just say, you know what, let them do their thing? To me, the most important thing is we unite and just kind of forget about what's going on and then just kind of go on with life. But what can we do, guys? Because I mean, there's parts of me that are still torn, you know, especially when it comes to the whole YouTube thing. You know, it's do I want to keep supporting these channels? Has it changed my mind about them? Because there's just a lot of stuff going on right now that I think needs to be addressed. What do you guys think?
Well, why don't we look at it?
Well,
oh,
go ahead, Cliff. Go ahead.
Well, why don't we look at it like the NRA thing? Okay, people have come on and they've gone around the room, like on Matt's chat, I believe. Who's staying in the NRA? Who's getting out? Right? I'm staying. I'm going. I'm staying. I'm going. You'll have one person on one show saying, you know, no, I'm going to stick with it. You have another person saying, nope, I'm done. You've got YouTubers that are paid by the NRA, of course, saying, you know, support them because that's what they're paid to do, and that's all good and fine. Both sides have a good point. If you stay in the NRA, you're staying in the loop, and supposedly, after 5 years, consecutive years of membership or lifetime membership, you can vote. How do we really know that they count our votes? I don't know. I don't know if there's any way to prove that. But if you want to vote these guys out, the whole change from within thing, I think is a valid point. On the other hand, the whole hit them in the pocketbook by not renewing your membership, not renewing your subscriptions, not buying their stuff, that sort of thing, I can understand that too. Some people, like Clover, are stuck because whether he wants to be in the NRA or not, he's got to in order for that certification because he's an instructor or whatnot. So there's some people that are in that position. It's kind of, everybody's got to kind of do their own thing. What if we just did that with the whole YouTube thing? If you feel strongly that this YouTuber is fine doing what they do, continue to support them. If you feel that they're not sincere, don't support them. And then they're going to have to go through the same thing that the NRA is going through. They're going to have to make a decision. If my numbers drop, do I want to change my policy? And if my numbers don't, can I just keep on doing what I'm doing? Because that's what the NRA is going to do. They're going to look at this overall. So.
Yeah, I think, and Squid makes a great point. You're going to have to decide. And I put a video out there the other day that basically told you how I feel is some of these big YouTube channels. Now, some people got in it for the money originally. Some people got in because they love guns. I think the big channels that got into it for a specific reason need to remember why they got into it and quit looking at the pocketbook as much. But I will say this also. My biggest thing is if you're in a YouTube channel and you're there for entertainment, then stick with the entertainment. That's fine. We have a niche for that. We need people like Demo Ranch that's out there blowing stuff up and doing all that stuff. We need that. But if you step into a political side of a channel, then I think that, and I talked about this before many, many times, I wish that there would be a roundtable, a private, I don't even want to be public, but a private roundtable where Eric and Matt and Yankee and Yeager and, you know, Tim and G Webs and Hank Strange and Hickok and all of these people would be in a collective private roundtable to hash all their differences out and then come up with a common theme. And then once that's over and they've got the common theme, then they come and broadcast to multiple millions of people. Because literally, if you get those kind of people in a room, you're literally talking to several million people at one time between all those channels, and come out with a collective message, a strong front, and say we all disagree sometimes on how we get there, but our destination is the same. Do not change in any way the Second Amendment. And if we do that, that can mobilize an enormous amount of people very quickly.
People are going to make money off of something they have a skill in, or something that's their hobby, or something they're passionate about. Some people may choose, they might say, I'm going to take the highest road and not take any money. And that's all good and fine. I like that. And somebody might take the lowest road and say, I'm going to make every penny I can off of this. At the end of the day,
that's America.
Yeah, that's America. This is capitalism. And at the end of the day, you have to decide. I guess it's kind of like how you pick your friends. You've got a friend that maybe does something that it goes against your morals, but it doesn't affect your life. And you go, you know what? He's a good friend. So what that he does this thing that goes against, as long as it doesn't affect me, it doesn't affect me. Or maybe, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things out there. I don't like the fact that people are being attacked, or that people are profiting off of the rebuttals to the attacks and stuff. But you know what? It's just what it is. Everybody can just take sides, but it doesn't help at the end of the day. It just doesn't. And I mean, Ghost, if you had a bunch of people going, Ghost, we don't like your content, we don't like what you're doing, we don't like what you say, we don't like, you need to change, would you change the way you do your channel because you had a majority of your viewers complaining? Or would you say, no, this is my channel, I'm doing it my way? What would you do?
I think what would I do?
Yeah.
What I would do is if I'll put it this way, if I truly believed the message that I was consistently putting out, and it was truly my message, not what I'm being paid to say, then I would sit there and say, this is my channel. This is what I truly believe. I'm not going to change that. You don't have to watch. On the flip side is if I was putting out a message because I was being compensated in some way to put that out there, I would have to go back and say, well, is the money that I'm receiving from this organization or this company worth losing half of my viewers? Because ultimately, curious about the message you're putting out, that's one thing. But if you're worried about the money side of it, then viewers do matter, because that's how they get their contracts. Is I've got 1.5 million subscribers. For me personally, I don't make any money at this, and that's not what I got. But my biggest thing is I put out a message that I truly believe in, and if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to watch. But I'm not being paid to say that either. So I think if you're being paid by someone, I think you'd have to at least look at, is the money or the monetary value that I'm being compensated by these organizations or companies, is it worth losing my channel? And the answer to me is no. But for me personally, I'm going to put out what I say, but I'm small to where, it's not affecting my livelihood,
Well, see, I don't have a channel. I don't make videos. I don't do this. So I don't understand what it's like to be on the other side of the fence. I will say this. When I was listening to gun channels, watching videos or downloading them and listening to them at work or whatnot, before I decided to get on and do my very first Hangout, having no idea what a Google Hangout was and blah, 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 the more I started doing stuff, the more I started understanding the context of what people were doing on the other side that I didn't understand. Why did they do this? Why did they say this way? It's just like the whole trying to read the live chat while you're talking. It's kind of hard to have two screens open and do that. And until you've done it, you don't understand. So because I haven't walked a mile in some of their shoes, I don't understand. But as somebody who has their own channel, I respect the fact that you are going to keep your channel true to what the nature is of what you're doing. I'm just wondering, because these guys have a channel, but they're also business owners. How many small business owners do you know that do things and they go, hey, this is my business. I built it. We're doing it my way, and I don't care. And you say, but you could make more money if you do this, or your customers would be happier you do this, or, whatever it is. And they go, hey, you know what? You start your own business. And I mean, I've met small business owners that have kind of this, hey, I busted my butt to build this business. Don't you tell me how to run it. So I just wonder whether these guys are sincere about their feelings about the Second Amendment, or it's strictly a profit generating center, like you're talking about entertainers. Maybe that's all they're really doing is entertaining. I don't know that they would change if they lost viewers. They might change if their sponsors told them to change, but I don't know that
that's what I was saying. For the bigger ones that have the sponsors, now on my side, here's what I would try to do is, and obviously this is the perfect world scenario, but if you're looking for sponsors and you're looking for these big corporations or organizations to help fund what you do, then why not align yourself with companies or organizations that might not pay as much, but they have the same feelings of what you do, so you don't have to sell yourself out. Why not align yourself with companies that have the same thoughts as you, so where you never have to change, your quote unquote beliefs? That's what I would try to do. Not just take any $10,000 that's given to me. Yeah, 10 grand's nice, but
I think that might come
But that's a
down
perfect world, you know?
Well, yeah, you're right. It is. And I think that also comes down to, do you really believe in the product? I would love to do a video where I reviewed a product that I really believed in and made money both. And you also have to look at, I'll give the IV88, 88, 88, 88 thing. Okay. So he gets paid by Joe Blow Gun Company to review Joe Blow brand new gun that's out there that cost over $1,000. And if they send him a junk gun, they're going to send him another one and another one and another one, or they're going to send him the best one they made to make sure this thing works perfectly for the video, because the number of takes he makes, it's going to be that much longer before the video gets out or whatnot. And he has to review this. So he has to have a good working gun to, and you go, that's so insincere. How many of us have ever bought a gun that had a good reputation and we got one that was crap? Or how many of us had bought a gun with a bad reputation and it was good? Look at Matt's IO, his AK. Everybody,
look at my Jimenez.
Yeah.
There you go.
Everybody says, I got a Wasser 10 from Century Arms. Didn't work right out of the box. I sent it to Century. They fixed it. Come back a week later. I ran everything through that, and that thing runs like, you know, a raped ape. I mean, and I've had people say Wassers suck, and I've got one of the newer ones, so it's supposedly not supposed to suck. I've had people say Century Arms sucks. I've got a Century Arms M1 Garand. That thing runs just as good as a Springfield Armory or an International Harvester. You know, I mean,
I've got a high .9mm. It's my truck gun, and I have put multi-thousand rounds through that thing, and I have never had one problem with it. And I got it for $140.
So see what I mean? You can have a gun with a bad reputation and you just happen to get a good one. Or you could have a gun with a good reputation and you got a bad lot. So the fact that these guys want a good running gun for a video, you can call it what you will. The fact that they get paid $4,000 or more, but look at it like this. What happens when he goes and takes some of that money that he made from the last video where he's doing the new rifle, and he uses that to go buy a milsurp out of his own pocket? Yeah, it's his rifle. He's going to keep it. But then he does a video with that milsurp. How does he make any money off of that? How does, I mean, other than his YouTube views or something, or his Patreon or something, how does he make? He doesn't. He bought that rifle. He bought that ammo. Maybe he reloaded it, whatever. He bought those targets. That's his land that he's shooting on. And he's doing a video with a milsurp rifle. And I'm there going, ooh, that's kind of cool. And, you know, maybe it's a milsurp that I'm interested in. Or he did a video once where he showed how to take 24 gauge brass shotgun shells and convert them into 577 450 cases for a Martini Henry. It's a cheaper way to do it. It's a long process. I had read about how to do this. I'd never seen anybody do a video. He didn't mention the name. I don't think he mentioned the name of the company that was making the, well, he might have been, it's MagTech, makes the shotgun shells and whatnot. But I don't think he was getting sponsored by MagTech for these. And you know, I'd have to think if he mentioned where he bought them from or something like that. But the whole fact that he did this video, and he probably either didn't make very much money off of it or didn't make any at all, and it was like a public service announcement, then fine. If he gets paid to do the next video, I don't care. It's the same thing with the NRA. If the NRA says, you know, maybe we should look into these bump stocks because they're trying to do damage control in advance and trying to save face. Yeah, everybody can be like, oh, they turned against us, blah, 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 blah. And then everybody likes to bring up 1986, and they're taking it out of context. They're taking the Hughes Amendment totally out of context, the NRA's position back then. If you look at it from the 1986 standpoint, the NRA kind of did what maybe it thought was the best thing to do. And everybody can complain today about the ramifications, but at the time, nobody was looking at that, and they're not giving the NRA a fair shake. I'm not an NRA fanboy, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
sure.
when you're looking for information on when there's going to be a gun rally, or on new legislation, or on when there's going to be a shoot or some sort of training or competition or something, or when you're looking for information on new products, the guns and ammo and
the NRA serves a very good purpose.
Right,
I just think sometimes they overstep what they should be doing.
Right, but the same thing, IV8888 is doing things just like that. So you have to take the good with the bad. Unfortunately, I've called being an NRA member as doing business with the devil. Now, like I said, if you don't want to watch IV8888, don't. If you don't want to be an NRA member, don't. I don't think any less of you. I think we all have to make our own personal choices. But I'm just saying, be objective when you look at this.
And Moon out there in the gun channel side made a good point. He says, I don't think the entire gun community lives on YouTube. And that is obviously true because it's a very small percentage of gun owners, you know. But what I would say this is, unfortunately, it sounds bad, but gun-related topics aren't going to get on mainstream media.
No, they're not.
But YouTube has become kind of one of the only media outlets that we can get stuff out there, because the mainstream media is sure as hell not going to put our stuff out there, you know?
So So whether somebody's trying to call somebody out, or somebody's trying to say they're holier than thou, or somebody's trying to steal somebody's business, or somebody's trying to get people to get on their opinion because their opinion is always right and it's not. That's neither here nor there. The fact that IV8888 has so many viewers, Hickok45 has so many viewers, Yankee Marshall has so many viewers. When they do present the 2A community in a positive light, that's good for everybody, because you have people that only watch their channels and they don't watch your channel, Ghost.
Absolutely. No, you're right. Absolutely.
They don't even know. And when these channels do on occasion call out and to go, oh, by the way, you know, check out Travis P11, or if maybe they do a search for IV88 and they find Caliber Corner, that's a good thing. But the fact that some of these people out there present, I know some people say Hickok is boring. Yeah, sometimes he is kind of boring, but he does present, he doesn't swear, he doesn't try to get on one side or the other. Yeah, he does promote his sponsors and that sort of thing, and he makes a ton of money off of it. But he goes to these events, he signs autographs, he does a lot of things to promote the, overall what we need is more of that out there, whether we like it or not. Unfortunately, it's just like being an NRA member. It's kind of like, this is what you have to take, the good with the bad.
And that was my whole point, is Hickok and Eric and all these and Mac and all these guys that are out there being quote unquote representatives and spokesmen for the gun community, because that's who people know. You know, I wish they would call out and shout out smaller channels that are helping the cause a little bit more, because you can branch out. You know, you should be able to intelligently expand your horizons on your thought process. Just because you think one thing, I'll tell you what, in the 3 or 4 months I've been doing YouTube and then on gun channels for a few months, you know, my thoughts and my platform that I truly thought I believed in has changed dramatically, because the more information that you get doesn't mean you have to change your mind, but the more information you get from multiple sources, we have to sit there and say, well, maybe I was going about this the wrong way. So the more information from multiple sources you're getting might actually help the cause. So I wish they would help the smaller channels out. Now, I don't expect them to call me out and say, hey, go check this guy out. But there are a lot of, I think once you reach that certain level, you do have a responsibility to grow the whole community, not just your channel also. Maybe that's just me,
and if you go back, you can see that Yankee did a video that he said that they owe us to get our name out there. And it's kind of like, you can have that opinion and that's all good and fine, but the truth of the matter is there's some competition there, and I don't know that some of these bigger channels necessarily want to get the smaller channels out there, because they might feel it's going to steal away some of their viewers or that sort of thing, or they don't feel that it's necessary because they made it, so you know, you've got to climb that hill too. Or maybe they don't know because they spend so much time doing their stuff, they don't watch other people's stuff. I mean, there's some people that have the free time to watch this, you know, 12, 13 shows a week, and there's other people who don't. Mine goes back and forth. Sometimes I have time, sometimes I don't. I'm lucky that I can download this stuff and listen to it on my phone later. But you know, and I do think that it'd be nice if we could all just get along. If that's the bottom line, if they bring people into the fold and people open their eyes and go, oh wow, I didn't know that was a gun law, or I didn't know that other gun people are like this, or I thought it was all like in the movies or whatever, and these people, good or bad, like them or not, can dispel those myths. I mean, like, look, when Jerry Mikulik does those gun myth videos, those are great because he shows you can do this, you can't do this. You know, I mean, that's great to get that out there. Some people look at it as strictly entertainment, but it's educational too, because people can see the movies are fake and they don't do our cause any good.
Absolutely.
I would like to point out something on the 86 thing that you never hear mentioned. But in 1986, who was the president that allowed this shit to go through? Our conservative bastion of godhood, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Bush Sr. Did that import ban on air quotes high capacity magazines when he took office too. It's not. That's why we have to be careful that Trump may say, I'm a Republican and I'm pro-gun, but I'm going to sign this stuff too. You know, I think Ronald Reagan was one of the best presidents we ever had. But as soon as I say that, everybody jumps on my throat and goes, Hughes Amendment. And it's like, oh, dude, take it easy. I'm not saying the usement is a good thing. It's not. It's not. But you have to look at the time. Not a lot of people own machine guns. Not a lot of people cared about machine guns. Now everybody thinks they're cool. There was a time where people didn't really care about buying AR-15s. That was at that time I was writing Colt Industries and having them send me their catalogs and going, one of these days I'm going to own one of these things. And what do you know? The '94 ban comes into play, and right before and right after, all these companies spring up and they're making post-banned AR-15s and charging a fortune for it. And now all of a sudden they're cool. Why are they cool? Not because they're in the movies or this. It's because they got banned. So any of this stuff that if any of these bans go through, you're going to see this stuff go up in value, and you're going to see people invent new ways to comply to the ban, but still provide people an outlet to do what they want to do. And it's just going to end up costing everybody money. And then all these guys who are doing these videos, they're going to do more product reviews. Sorry, Travis. They're going to do more product reviews. They're going to make more money. You know, I mean, I know you're not sponsored by anybody, and I like the fact that you're doing full disclosure. But if you were, I wouldn't think any less of you, because I know you. You're not going to, you know.
I have products sent to me. I have stuff loaned to me, but I mean, if you watch my videos, there's stuff that I talk down on. You see my guns malfunction a lot. You know, and I will say, I mean, I haven't received anything monetary in terms of a straight up payout. I'll have holster reviews from people say, hey, you want to review the holster? But yeah, I want to say a few things about Eric Squibb. When you get done, I want to talk about him because there's a few points I want to make about him.
No, I'm all done. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So here's my feelings about Eric. I've been watching Eric's videos probably since the beginning of his channel, and he has always been very pro 2A. He's had a lot of great cleaning videos, a lot of good range test videos. To me, what he presents now versus what he presented back then has not changed. I mean, I've not seen anything other than the cameras getting better, the sound getting better, them having a little bit better range to shoot at. I have not seen a major change in his content, but you know, what really made people mad, I think, was the lack of transparency about the payoffs to do a review. That suddenly makes me think, you know, now he's just basically an advertiser, you know, and
well, now
that's where I'm kind of torn, because I'm a big fan of his, and I'm not going to unsub, but it's like, okay, I'm watching this review knowing that he could get 2 or 3 copies of this rifle and it's going to perform like a champ on the camera. And then he's going to have problems down the road. And that's happened to me before. I purchased firearms that have been reviewed by big gun channels saying, oh, go out and get this. Go buy this gun. It's great. Sky CPX2, for example. All right.
Yep.
They beat the heck out of it in his video, and it ran good, but they didn't put no 1,000 rounds through it. And when I did, I had lots of problems with it. And I babied that thing, and it still fell apart. So, you know, part of me is like, I wish I like YouTube channels where they come out and say, this product is sent to me from this company. It's my own opinion of it. You know, and I tell companies that if they want to send me a holster, I'm like, I'll do a review, but I'm going to put my opinion up about it and my reaction to it, and that's how it's going to be. Okay, fine. They don't want to send the product, I don't want to review it. So, but when you get a monetary payout, not that he can't run it like a business, but it'd be like, now that people know, you know, I might look at his videos a little bit differently. I might watch it just from like an accuracy standpoint or just a ownership standpoint, you know?
You know, the thing with Iraq Veteran is that he's been advertising since day one. He started out pushing things for Moss Pawn. So, you know, anybody that's at that level, you have to take with all, you know, the reviewing process. When I'm interested in the gun, I watch every damn review I can find. And if the bulk of the little guys are saying this thing is a piece of shit, word for it.
What was that? It kind of broke up there, buddy. What'd you say?
You have to look at it like this. Oh, sorry.
I said that, you know, when I look to reviews on guns, I look at all of them I can find. And if you got a bunch of little guys that are saying this particular item's a piece of crap,
yeah,
I kind of take that advice.
I do the same thing.
Because these guys are not vested in it, obviously.
Yep.
Every video I ever saw on the SD was good. I've never seen anybody do a bad one.
And funny, I had problems with mine, and I talked about that in my videos. I didn't do a review on the first one that I had, but when I bought an aftermarket stainless steel guide rod for my PT-111, I mentioned that I had an SD9 that wouldn't run properly. I mean, I was correctly using it, but it still had issues. And so, but yeah, I watched all the videos. Oh, it's a great budget gun, this and then I went and bought one, and that might have been a lemon. It might have just had a defective part. It had a really bad flexible guide rod that came with it. So, but I mean, I hear you. You definitely got to go out there and watch those little channels too, because they're going to give you an unbiased opinion because they're buying it with their hard-earned money, man.
Yeah.
And if it's junk, they're going to tell you, or if it's loaned to them from somebody, and you see it malfunction on camera. And that's funny because I'll see new guns come out and guys will review and they'll have problems with it. And then the big channels come out and it just runs like a champ. I mean, I can think of a dozen guns where I've seen that happen.
But Travis, it's a good thing for the community that guys like you are out there, because you're going to have the honest blue collar man's opinion on it, as opposed to I got paid and they sent me the best one they've got, or they kept sending them until we had one that worked for the camera, blah, 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 blah. So because there's so many people out there, I think we can get a good dissemination of what's, and it all goes back to the, what if you get the good one that has a bad rep, or you get a bad lot of one that has a good rep. But you have to look at this too. When somebody criticizes IV88 or Hickok or any of those guys, you have to look at it this. Are they jealous? I'm not saying that everybody who criticizes them is jealous, but they are living the American dream. They are getting paid to do what they love.
Yeah.
I would love to have some land out in the country and go out there and do some of these crazy shots that they do with these guns. I mean, trying to hit a target at over 100 yards with a 45 ACP or with a 12 gauge slug and shooting all those milsurps. I'd have so much fun. I don't know that I necessarily want to go to all the events or whatnot, but if I got a sponsor telling me you've got to go to this event and sign autographs, well, then I guess whereas if you don't have a sponsor, you don't have to sign autographs if you don't want to. But the whole thing is they are living the American dream. So when somebody criticizes them, you have to decide, is this person just jealous because they're not living the American dream yet, or they are, but they're just not living it to that level? Or do they have a legitimate whatever? And the other thing too is, if we're trying to be united, is calling somebody out on what they're doing really uniting us, when at the end of the day, they're no better than Guns and Ammo magazine or the NRA, and these are necessary evils? I mean, I don't know.
Good point.
That's like how I was with Military Arms Channel. I mean, I subscribed to him when he only had like 300 subscribers, and his name was Sturmgewehr. But I really didn't like his content. But basically when my sister moved out to Indiana, I'm just like, I'll go see what his store is all about. So I went there, and he's the nicest guy in the world. He was like, this is like my first dose of freedom, basically. He was like putting things in my hands that I wouldn't even dream about having here in New Jersey. Like
yeah. There are things that are too expensive for me to do that these guys do on camera. I'm like, okay, that's what it's like. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
He's immediately looked at his Tiger Dragunov on the wall, and he's like, hey, you want to hold it? I'm like, you sort of read my mind. Yes. He pulls it off the wall,
dude.
hands it to me. I'm just like, whoa. But I encourage everybody to go meet Military Arms Channel. He's like the nicest guy in the world.
And that's another thing.
Informative too. He was like telling me all about Indiana's gun laws, even though there weren't many. But I was telling him all about New Jersey laws, and we were just going back and forth, and it was such an enriching experience.
If you make money doing this, sponsored or not, however it is you make your money, Patreon sponsors, whatever it is, and you have a fan base, and you go somewhere and somebody asks you for an autograph and you stop to sign an autograph, or you have a store and you go into their store and they'll talk to you, they don't go get the hell out of here, whatever, and they, maybe they're going out of their way, but when you stop them, they make time for you because they know you're a fan and you help pay their bills. That says a whole lot more of their character when they make money and they refuse to sign autographs or take selfies.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like what happened with me with Military Arms. Is I went there and he wasn't there, but one of his workers was there. I was like, "Hey, is Tim around?" And he's like, "Nah, he's out. He's on his way to some event that's in South Indiana because his place is way up north." And I was like, "Oh, that's a thing. That stinks." So the guy that was there actually made a phone call to him, and he's like, "Hey, we got a guy from New Jersey that wants to." Basically wants to see you, and then he's like, well, I'm on the road, but I can turn around and come back. He can stay for 15 minutes. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll
Oh,
stay for 15 minutes.
that's
And he
awesome, man.
shows up. He basically went out of his way to basically meet one of his fans.
But if that person's at SHOT Show and they refuse to sign autographs, or they refuse to take pictures with people, or they're only taking pictures with certain kinds of people or whatnot, how is that an example of their character that's any better or any worse?
Yeah, it is. It's important to care about your fans and try and acknowledge them. You know what I mean? Whether it's in the comments section or otherwise. I've signed every autograph that anybody has ever asked me for. It's zero, but I've done it.
You start signing the receipts. Cooked by Chef
yeah,
Travis.
yeah, I guess I could. Yeah.
Just say,
Actually,
hey,
I lie. You know
edition.
what?
Could you use the reloaded 8mm Mauser shell as garnish?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
You get your shells converted into pens and sign it, and then you get the shell with the pen when you sign off on it. You get the shell with the receipt. You know. Hey, go ahead.
I lie because one time I did. I had a regular come in and they brought their kid in and he was like 5, and I brought him back into the kitchen and let him make his own pizza.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I made him, and then I signed a to-go menu for him because he was so excited. That was I lie. I did it one time.
I actually got. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, cool, man. Go ahead.
I actually got recognized at the range one time, and it was pretty cool. I was a 13-year-old kid wanted me to sign something for him, so I happened to have a sticker, and I gave him the hat that I was wearing. So I was like, "Oh my god, I got a 13-year-old groupie! It's awesome." It made my day. No, seriously, I'm not gonna lie.
You know what though? He may be influenced by his father, his uncle, even his mom. I mean, girls shoot too, you know, and he may be in a Pro 2A family, or they just might go to the range every now and then. And because he watches YouTube and he sees guys like you on there, he understands this. So when he's got his high school teacher or later his college professor telling him how evil America is and how bad guns are, he knows the difference. I mean, we can only do so much with our family, but the people around, and I don't ever try to tell somebody you have to be Pro 2A. All I try to do is give them the tools they need to make their own decisions, and I don't try to force it down anybody's throat. But all of us out there do in one way or the other, whether we have 1.5 million viewers or whether we weasel onto somebody's show, we try to do our part to be objective and get the message out there so people understand, and then they can make their own choices.
You're muted, Travis.
Triple D is joining us. He's a local Nebraskan, and I've been talking to him about the rally on Sunday, and he has to join in. So, Triple D, we're going to pass you the mic, man. Is there anything you'd like to say right now?
You know what? Just thanks for the invite, and I don't have a channel or anything to plug. I just, well, if you read the chat, I kind of lined out how I got here. But Hickok, I was looking, you know, a couple years ago, I was going to buy my first pistol. Started looking at some reviews because I don't like to just jump in. You know, I wanted to kind of figure out what I wanted, and was checking out reviews on guns, holsters, all that stuff. Found Hickok, found Yankee, found the Thursday night chat with Matt and G-Webs, and then found you and found out you're, you know, a fellow Cornhusker. So go Big Red, man.
Right on, man. All right, so we're getting stuff lined up for that rally on Sunday. Should be good. I hope few people show up. We'll see what happens, man.
I've got a coworker sitting right beside me. I'm at work right now, so if somebody tries to talk to me and I don't answer, it's probably because I got a customer in my store. But I got a coworker sitting right beside me that's trying to figure out how she can make it down too. So
cool.
Word's getting out. We're doing our job, man.
Definitely coming together. That's awesome, man. Hey, anytime you want to join in, feel free. Anytime. If you ever need a ride out here to the studio, I'll come pick you up. Oh, man.
I would take you up on that. If you weren't 3 hours away, I would be down there right now.
You know, living out where I live, you're used to going 2 hours for just to get your favorite store. I've done gun runs where I basically bought a pistol online and ran to Lincoln, pick it up, and came back because it was actually cheaper than paying for shipping or an FFL transfer. So 300-mile round trips are really not a big deal for me, to be honest with you.
I'm with you. I actually grew up pretty much straight north of you, up on the South Dakota border. And yeah, I mean, coming to Norfolk, where I live right now, that it's 2.5-hour drive. You know, that was the closest Walmart from, you know, to where I grew up. Yeah. And the problem I have right now is that's still my closest place to go shoot, and I don't get home very often because I'm busy. I've got a full-time job, plus I DJ on weekends, so I'm doing weddings and birthdays and stuff, and I just don't get out much. I don't get range time. So I really envy what you have. Just a couple minutes drive from your house. That's pretty cool.
I got about a 15, not quite a 15-minute drive from my house to get out to the range and have all that area for hunting and stuff is really nice. But yeah, no, I hear you, man. And this is me with with getting into firearms. Other than just having a few pistols when I was back in college, I really didn't get into it until I moved out here. I needed to be around an environment where I could go shooting and go hunting and have that freedom to do that without having to pay expensive range fees. But guys, just having Triple D here, I want to show this as an example of how we can unite the gun community. He's 200 miles away, and we're still planning to come together because we have a common cause, and I've only talked to him a few times through email and stuff. And, it does, I think it definitely shows kind of how the community is starting to come together. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Cool.
If you need an autograph or something, let me know.
Yeah, if you want a good recipe for bison meatloaf, just go check out his channel. He'll get you all set. We got bison just right across the street, so I can go. I suppose I could probably talk the farmer into letting me take one home.
If I need an autograph, so what are you saying? Jaeger?
I've drank Jaeger.
I like this guy.
Okay, you don't want to say that in our panel. Right.
I want him to bring out a fresh loaf of bread on a surplus wooden AK stock, and I want to slice it with a surplus AK bayonet. That's what I want to do.
Take that AK and take the flank off and use that as like a cedar roasting plank for your salmon. It's
There you
salmon,
go.
salmon a la AK, salmon, Kalashnikov salmon. There you go.
Yeah.
I love the Cosmoline in the morning.
Oh God. Exactly, man.
When the fryer runs low, I just throw Cosmoline in it. It fries up pretty good.
Heck yeah.
Gives it that nice robust flavor.
You don't have to add any extra oil to it. It just naturally just marinates itself. So
it just melts down. It's good. It's good stuff.
Tell them it's caramelized.
Yes.
Yeah. Cosmolized.
Oh man. Hey, by the way, guys, if you haven't done so, G-Webs has been posting a lot of good knowledge over there on the gun channel side for this Caliber Corner podcast. He's got a lot of good ideas out there, a lot of thoughts that we need to keep in mind. So, guys, I'm going to start to wrap it up. Believe it or not, I have family coming again. It's, man, you buy a house and then suddenly everybody wants to come stay with you. And so we're going to start to wrap this one up, but do go over to gun channels if you haven't done so yet. Again, guys, with the rallies coming up, I don't know if I'll do a Caliber Corner Saturday. I may do that and then just take off and head east. So I might have one more like gearing up for the rally to talk about what I've done and what I'm doing and what we can all do. There's still time. Just be smart, be a good steward for the gun community when you're at these rallies. I don't want to sound like your daddy, but man, you got and it's amazing how many people just having conversations about firearms, just people getting to know me and talking to other people and not realizing that you don't have to make guns into such a big deal to enjoy them. Not everybody is militant. Not everybody is a big game hunter. I mean, it's amazing how you can educate people on just the basics. I mean, you can't just convert your rifle to full auto like you see in the movies. I mean, just little things like that. Be a good representative of the community when you're at these rallies. And if there's a group that's there, obviously you need to abide by the laws for your demonstration. If there's a group there that's doing things and saying things, don't instigate it. Don't antagonize them because all they're doing is setting us up. Keep a good head about yourself. All right. Don't flip out. I mean, think before you act. We don't want to make any mistakes at these rallies. We never want to make any mistakes because everything we see, there's going to be media there. There's going to be people from the community there. There might be people that are just kind of curious about what both sides represent. Definitely be a good representative for the community. That's all I can ask of you guys when you're there. Let's make everybody feel welcome and invited. You're going to be amazed at the spectrum of attendees that we're going to see at these rallies. And I think that's probably one of the most important things, that we are a united community. The idea for today's Caliber Corner was just to kind of bring it together and talk about what do we need to do to get past all this bickering going on? What mindset do we need when we go into this rally on Sunday? What afterwards? What do we need to do? And even before. So I don't know. I just think that it can be a very good thing for us, and we need to definitely make it known that things are that we are concerned citizens. I think that's really what it comes down to. That we are concerned about our rights. I don't know. AWAG, you want to say anything before we go ahead and wrap up, buddy?
Other than, you pretty much hit the nail on the head.
I wanted to bring it together, man. There's the whole idea behind, we have an opportunity here to, even if you're 10 people standing there with signs, you have an opportunity to make your point known publicly.
And another thing with the gun community is shove your ego in the corner, basically trying to get how do I say this? Basically, empowered that you know something more than somebody else. You just if somebody's saying something stupid, just go up to them and say, "Hey, I heard your conversation, and like, hey, this I have experience in this, and." But don't just go up to them and say, "Oh, you're stupid because you said this." And you just file down the firing pin, makes it full auto.
You don't have a gun. What are you, dumb? You know? No, that's not the idea.
No.
Yeah.
One of
I
the
agree.
best things
Totally,
we can one of the best things we can do is to stay out of the freaking petty crap.
Yeah.
I mean, don't give them the friggin' views.
Exactly. Just don't,
That's what a lot of this is about. The number of views you're getting.
I mean, it's an interesting time. It's definitely an interesting time for us to be gun owners and to deal with what we're dealing with right now and where we thought we were versus where we thought we would be and where we're not. Ghost, you want to go ahead and chime in, man? What do we need to keep in mind as we go into this week?
I think that this has been a really, really good show because I think it is trying to bring it all to a head and say we all are going to have differences in opinions on how we get to the destination. Understand that the destination is a Second Amendment and preserving the Second Amendment as we know it and not letting them take chunk by chunk to where eventually we won't even recognize a Second Amendment. So whether you believe in certain channels or not, whether you believe in the ideas of certain people, for the next month, it doesn't matter. Understand that we're all on the same team. We just might wear different colors on the field, but we're all on the same team. And let's bring everyone together and say, look, I may not like what you say all the time, but we're on the same boat here. So let's really just understand that the Second Amendment is what we're all talking about here.
Yeah, that is ultimately what it comes down to. That is the most important thing. That's it. Because without that, we're just like everybody else. And we don't need to be like everybody else because we're not. Other countries, we don't want to be like everybody else.
Absolutely.
Midnight Range, you want to chime? Hey, thank you, Ghost. Midnight Range, you want to chime in a little bit? Anything that we need to keep in mind?
Yeah, it's been. Yeah, I think there's. Let me go outside here.
Yeah.
I think there's three things that when on a day like next Sunday is to be smart, to be safe, and to be a good representative of the community. I think those are three things that kind of cover everything on a day like that.
I hear you, man. All right, cool. Squibby, anything you want to say, man? Anything you want to chime in about before we go ahead and wrap it up?
No, I think it's all been said. I mean, yeah, just everybody, keep a level head, be careful what you say. If the news crews are out there, try to represent the way you want. Just think of somebody from the outside who knows nothing about guns except what they've heard on the news and seen in TV shows and movies and how they look at us and just try to try to do the right thing for the community because we're a community. Our differences aside, we're a community.
Make sure you've got your facts and knowledge straight. If anybody's asking a question, well, I heard that 75% of all crimes committed by guns. Yes, and 70% of it is gang related and 5% is suicide. I mean, make sure you arm yourself with some knowledge that you can share. Maybe have some information with you at the time in case anybody wants to fact check you, because that's a big thing these days is to one up each other. That's all we do.
Well, also look at the crime rate has gone down as the number of guns have gone up. So that's a great stat to have also.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Something I want to put out there is
Tony,
make sure that if you go and you're planning to go armed, that it is legal for you to do so.
Yeah.
Because if we in Illinois step on the Capitol property with a gun, we're likely to be arrested.
And that's funny. When I looked at those regulations on Nebraska rallies, they talk about not being able to have poles for your signs and not being able to you have to have handheld posters and signs. I didn't see anything about firearms in the page that was sent to me. So I'm hopefully going to get some clarification on that because my plan is obviously to go concealed. But if I'm going to step on the sidewalk and I'm violating state law It might just be once you enter the facility. I mean, yes, we need to know the rules and regulations and pay attention to it, because ours says, you can only stand in this area. You can only stand in this area on the property. You have to keep a clearing out of the entry and exit for safety, for fire or evacuation purposes. I mean, it totally, there's arm yourself with a little bit of knowledge about the rally before you go. Just don't show up and say, well, where are we going to stand? Definitely
I've actually been in contact with the Secretary of State's office here in Arkansas, because the state law for CCW says you cannot carry in a building that lawmakers work, blah, 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 blah. And so I emailed her, I said, look, I understand that this is what the law says, but we're going to be outside the building. Yes, we're on the state capitol property, but we're not going to be inside the building. She says, that's a really good question. I've never had anyone ask me that. So she's actually getting a hold of the Capitol Police and going to get a clarification so I can at least pass out information. Yeah. So that is really good piece of information that we might want to state by state look at of what are the state laws, because the last thing we really want is the media to be there and showing people being arrested because they're concealed carrying. That sends the whole, that negates the entire reason why we're there. So educate yourself on your local rules.
And that is the part that they will show on the news. They will not show what happened beforehand. They will not show anything. They won't go and interview the guy later. It's all they're going to show is the guy getting cuffs and put in the car, because that's what people want to see.
Pro-gun protester arrested at state capitol. That's the headline.
Oh, it'll be alt-right.
Well, also keep in mind, too, what you said, Ghost, that there could be somebody who is anti-gun that is in our midst. He puts on camo, he slings a rifle over his shoulder, and he's standing around, and we don't know him because we're going to be there with a bunch of strangers. And he's the guy that throws the bottle and starts to fight.
That's right.
We need to police our own.
Yeah, be prepared.
Don't be paranoid and don't trust anybody, but talk to somebody enough, you'll figure out who's the poser and who's not. So
if people get hot-headed, step in. Don't, if somebody's getting violent, but somebody starts to screaming back at somebody, like, look, man, come on, we're here. Hey. We have an opportunity to show off what we're about. Let's not look like a screaming 5-year-old. Okay, let's keep it,
Yeah.
Hey, and if the opposition is there screaming, let them scream, because then you'll make them look like the idiot.
Yeah, but that won't make the news. But that's and unfortunately for us, it won't. But that's fine.
Well, a couple things too. I would assume that 99% of the people that are there are probably going to be carrying, concealed or otherwise. I really think that we don't need to open carry. Personally, I worry in a crowd that big, I wouldn't open carry without some sort of level 3 retention on my pistol. But I don't want to see a bunch of guns slung over shoulders. I don't want to see a bunch of that. And when we're concealed carrying, the last thing we want to do is have to pull our piece. So I think as just a group as a whole, concealed carriers, legal concealed carriers, we always try to de-escalate. We don't ever want a situation to escalate, because it behooves us to handle it quietly and never have anything come to it. I don't want to get into a fist fight, but
that's right.
If it's getting smashed in the teeth versus pulling my piece, I'm going to take that punch, because I don't think getting hit in the face is going to kill me, so I'm not going to pull my gun.
But once again, we're also talking about changing the stereotypes. And if we're showing that we are responsible, law-abiding citizens that won't pull our gun just at anything, that also helps the message also. So good point.
Well, yeah, and again, the attire, I don't think we need a bunch of guys in buzz cuts wearing camo and plate carriers and combat boots. I don't think that's the image we want to portray. We want everybody to know that, hey, we're regular people. We're no different than anybody else that you see walking around the grocery store, walking around Walmart. It's just that I happen to be legally able to carry a gun with me when I do that stuff. And, not only am I going to be safe, but I guarantee that whoever's next to me in that grocery store line, if anything would hit the fan, that's the safest that person's ever going to be too, because I will take their best interest in mind as well. And I think that's more of the image we want to portray.
I got a buzz cut and I'm wearing a camo t-shirt. I'm kind of fucking offended by this.
Power to you. I don't really have much hair, so call it a buzz cut or whatever, but that's because it's fallen out, so I just trim it off.
Tony, just go to your safe space. There's a bunch of 44s in there, so.
Just a little a quick question. At these rallies, if you are allowed to open carry and somebody shows up with a rifle, personally, if I were to hold one of these rallies, I would ask them to sling it over their back, just because if it's like in front of them at the low ready, then I feel uncomfortable about that. But if it's slung over their back, then I know it just feels a little safer. What do you
Great
guys
point,
think about
AWAG.
that?
No, that's a great point.
Well, and even if they're the police presence at these rallies, they're not going to have their AR slung at a low ready. They're not hopefully going to have any kind of riot gear or tactical gear either.
It's
If
going to
they're
be
just
in their cruisers, and it's going to
right.
be ready. But I don't. Yeah, I think if they bring it out and start walking around with it, they're going to make themselves look. They're going to escalate.
And I think that we as a group need to be aware of that too. We don't want the cops thinking that we're going to start anything. We need to, if you see a cop, shake his hand, thank him or her, and just let them know that, hey, we're all on the same team here. We're all trying to keep bad things from happening to good people. We just happen to be the good people. We kind of take our lives into our own hands here, but we thank them for everything they do. Make sure that you're on the same page with local law enforcement so they know that if anything happens, it's not our group that's going to start anything. And I think most of them know that anyway. All the Leos that I've ever talked to, they're all for concealed carry legally and all that. So I think that, again, we just need to, if we see cops, we need to just thank them. Same way with our service people, thank them too, because we have the freedom to do this next Sunday.
Should we bring donuts with sprinkles?
I actually am bringing donuts.
Aside from Texas, I think sprinkles will be okay. In Texas, we might have another riot on our hands.
So you're saying you might get arrested if you have coconut sprinkles on the donuts that you're giving to the cops?
There's a chance. There's a chance.
If you really want to make, if you really want to
I
make
think
Matt
Matt's
mad,
the only one that's going to make a deal. Yeah, so only in Texas is this with you.
If you really want to make Matt mad, you got to get a coconut sprinkled donut with an A2 grip.
Or you start handing out the donuts to all the Pro 2A guys, and whoever takes the coconut sprinkles, they're the anti-gunners.
That is a possibility. I don't know,
also,
man.
Tell him that your Remington 870 donut is so much superior to his Mossberg 500 donut.
Or Maverick 88.
Where's Maverick 88 donut?
I got to do a quick screen share here. This is going to show you this. We've had a lot of discussion, but this is what's wrong with America right here. That's it right there. Look at that. What is this?
You got to get the A2 grip in there somewhere.
This is? Yeah, I feel sorry for these other donuts that have to put up with these guys. I mean, look at this.
That looks like the Casey's gas station about 11 in the morning when all the good donuts are picked over. That's what's left.
This is actually a local bakery place that it does rock, but they do sell their they sell their donuts in a local bakery. But yeah, it's just kind of funny.
You're gonna have the one guy wearing the camo jacket with the AK slung over his shoulder, and he's gonna reach into that box of donuts and go for the coconut sprinkles, and he's licking his lips, and everybody's standing around looking at him, and he's licking his fingers when he's done. He's going, what a good donut, and we're all gonna look at each other and give each other like the high sign, going, that's him. That's the guy that's gonna throw the bottle later.
Yep. It's crazy, man. All right. Well, hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. We're gonna go ahead and call it. I think we've had a pretty good discussion. Not that I don't want it to turn into a food chat, but we've been down the donut rabbit hole before, and it's just gonna divide us further, and I don't want that to happen. So, anyway, guys, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. It's been a good chat. It's just been, and again, everybody has their own feelings about how they're gonna go to the rally. Just go how you're legally allowed to go. Go how you're most comfortable going. If somebody's there and they're appearing, they appear in a way that you're not comfortable with, don't worry about it. Just go. You're going there to celebrate the Second Amendment. If somebody else wants to go with their AR over their back, more power to them. I mean, that's just, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be good in the end. It's going to be a good environment, and everything is going to go well. Again, just be smart about what you do. Act like an adult while you're there. Definitely be a good person, be a good representative of the community, and it's going to go fine. I think it's going to be a good thing. So. All right. Anybody want to say any final words at all before we go? Anything else? I know I let you guys kind of wrap up a little bit. Anything else we want to end with?
I just want to say thanks for doing this show because we all try to put out a similar message throughout the week, and a lot of people can't catch other shows and watch other videos. But Saturday morning seems to be a time and place that people can. So I really appreciate your show, and you're doing a really, really good job.
Thank you. I mean, I appreciate it. Like I said, the intention of Caliber Corner was just a couple live podcasts for fun, and look what it's turned into. It's been a good time. Hey, you know what? Let's give some props out here to people that showed up today. Again, go check it out over on the Gun Channel side. G-Web's dropped some really good knowledge for us. We had a lot of people joining us. Obviously, Tony's with us. Yesterday's Pomade on Gun Channel's G-Webs is over there. Moon Food showed up over there also on the Gun Channel side. See if anybody else popped up at the last second. And then over on the YouTube side, we had a lot of regulars hanging out today. Ben Farrell said, I'm late to the party. What did I miss? Ben, just go to the 2A rally next Sunday. That's all you need to know. George says he wants a cake donut. Grim90 was with us. Midnight Ranger with us. Squibby. Gary Decker. Jorge Cortez was with us. Scott Pacini. Samson 1. Rich White. Man, we got everybody here. Got a good crew with us. Mr. Trek Fan Dan. There we go. He's with us. It's hard to say that this early in the morning. Jeff XL12 is with us today. That might be a new one for me. Sean Callanan is out there. 04 Hemi's with us as usual. Triple D, thanks for joining in, buddy. Guys, I think that's about it. So again, be active, get out there, get out to the rally, educate yourself. We got a busy week this week coming up, so let's see how things turn out. I'm looking forward to seeing it show up on YouTube and on gunchannels.com. So there we go, guys. This has been Caliber Corner number 17. What can we do to unite the gun community? Guys, y'all have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.
Later, everybody.
Bye, Felicia.
Take care, guys.
Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
There you go. And on that note, we out.